Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, rocking the oldies, I see. Our producer Alex heard the words oldies and Led Zeppelin and decided to take it to the next level.
No longer classic rock and oldie.
Oldie but goodie. It's all good. Hey, our program, as always, is brought to you by G2G Bars, all natural ingredients and no preservatives. Make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Give it a shot today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, all in the refrigerated section. Let's get things started off here with the cut. That's how we get things going with our program. Top of the hour. Let's get going. We've got Sly standing by. Let's get it going right now.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This portion of the show brought to you by Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com. Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Sly Sylvester. Sly joining us on the program, former NFL linebacker, former University of Utah linebacker, and he joins us on the program right now. Sly, everything good in your world, brother?
Man, it's hot. Today, the last couple of days, been hot, huh?
Yeah. That's what happens in July. Breaking news. That's what happens in July.
I don't know if you knew that.
You know, I moved away from Vegas, so it wouldn't be as hot, but it's getting closer to 100, man. I don't know what's going on. Am I bringing the heat, or, like, what's the deal?
Yeah, we hope you do. That's why we booked you as a guest today. Sly, one of the solid pieces of this broadcast that we always have is Sly's opinions on anything football-related, anything sports-related, but also today. It's a good one because now fall camp's going to fire up here for the University of Utah. I would think that hopes aren't just high just because of Devin Dampier and him coming in and the possibility of a new offense for the Utes and what Jason Beck could bring. But I think that there's also just the natural human element of, hey, I want to forget everything that happened in 2024. And so the hope goes even higher because you're expecting to just forget totally what happened last year with the 5-7 Utes. Is that where fans are? Are people optimistic? Because day after day, we tend to get a little bit more excited about this Utah program because of how Kyle Whittingham is known to coach, but also because of the pieces that they brought in during the offseason.
Man, that's a great question. I haven't really talked to anybody, but I can attest to what I feel. I feel those exact sentiments, man. It's a lot. It's kind of like when you're putting that 1,000-piece puzzle together and you're missing that one piece and you're just frustrated. You can't stop thinking about it for days. And then you get that piece and you're just like, you just feel this whole sense of relief. And I think that's Devin Dampier. So that's the piece. And I think that's why it's so focalized, is because he's been that missing piece. As we talked about all offseason, you know, we go through the games and we're just like, if we have that offensive piece, that dynamic offensive piece, that Tyler Huntley, the Travis Wilson get out of the pocket and make a play, the Brian Johnsons, the smart plays, the Alex Smith, those type of plays from the offensive side of the ball, everything else is there. We have the defense. We had assets as far as skill position. We now have one of the top 5 offensive lines in the entire country. We have always never questioned our defense. Special teams is always up there. That piece was the quarterback from last year. So, yes, let's forget about 2024. And the guys down south are struggling with their little quarterback situation because Utah fans know what that feels like. And so they know that their rivals are going to be going through that this year. And so there's a lot of excitement here on the red side, man. And so I feel it. As I said, I ain't talked to nobody, but that's what I feel. I feel very excited for this year. I was actually just walking through the facility today, and I haven't seen that many smiles in the facility in a long time. So the training camp is upon us. First practice is tomorrow. I cannot wait.
So there's a good vibe, good narrative coming out of Utah as they begin camp. And look, you mentioned it, Devin Dampier is the reason why. Are we hyping him too much? What are the realistic expectations that we should have for him, that you have for him this season? Are his numbers going to be better than they were in New Mexico? Or are they going to be a little less because he doesn't have to do as much?
That is a great question, JJ, and it all depends on the type of player that you're talking about, right? Is he, and this is what we don't know because he is new, is he the type of player that thrives under the pressure? Is he the type of player that needs motivation? Is he the type of player that's like, look, leave him alone and he'll do his own thing? What type of player is he? And that's just what we don't know yet. But, what's the Spider-Man quote from Uncle Ben? With great power comes great responsibility, right? And I think he's been granted great power being the quarterback of the University of Utah here. And so there's great responsibility with that. Responsibility, these fans are going to show up. They're paying these season tickets. They want to show up and see excitement. They want to see the Rose Bowl lit up 40-plus points by the Utes. Offensive, defensively, just having a ball, just making the UCLA Bruins look like crap on August 30th. That's what Utah fans want, and that's kind of the expectations. And hopefully Devin Dampier is the guy to make that happen. So I hope the coaches are doing a great job of assuring him to block out the noise out on the outside and focus on himself, because everybody else is doing the talking. Right? He doesn't have to do any talking. He doesn't have to do any tweeting to put his team in the polls. He doesn't have to do any of that. You got to focus on one play at a time and getting into the end zone, putting points on the board, and putting your team in the best position to win every single game. That's all he has to do, and the rest will be taken care of. We're doing the talking for him. He doesn't have to do anything.
Sly, one of the things that we obviously see is that Morgan Scalley can, just sort of plug and play with whatever guys they recruit in there. They know what the system is, and they know what they expect out of this system. But one thing that happened last year was you had a defense that was playing at a pretty high level, one of the best in terms of the numbers. But, I think at some point the losses stacked up on everybody, and it got to the psyche. And a guy like Lander Barton, we look at and we go, okay, what's a version of Lander to where he gets back to the best version of him? What do you expect out of guys like him who they had a good defense last year, but they didn't have great performances individually necessarily. And I think that guys like him can't wait to get that leadership position back and to get back on the field and not just play good defense, but also have the wins that go along with it.
Man, you hit it right on the head. You said that, it made me think of the Steelers, right? Plug and play, right? You just lost Minkah Fitzpatrick, all NFL, all pro, just a hell of a defender, and you trade him for Jalen Ramsey. But, stuff like that happens, and the defense is still the defense. The Steelers' defense will still be a top 5 defense. Top 10 defense, to still be collective defense even after those dynamic players are gone. And that's what this defense is, man. They've recruited, they've taught, and, that's just what I feel like the Coach Whittingham, Ron McBride tree has done, is they've done a great job of developing guys. Sharif Shaw, you guys know, you guys have been to a practice and see the way and the attention to detail that he, Coach Schwan, Lou Powell, Luther Ellis, that they put on their positions, and it just brings the best out of each athlete. I've thought about it a lot growing up, and it's just like there are so many athletes out there, but how can you bring the best out of each athlete, whether it's a situation or what? Because, I've been on the Steelers, and I don't think that we had the best players in the entire NFL, but collectively we were the number 1 defense, right? And that's exactly what Utah does. They collectively put guys in the right position to make things happen. I mean, you look at last season, you were talking about Lander Barton. He started off slow. But you look at it, there was a few guys that'll be 100% to start the season that started off slow. From Nate Ritchie, he was slow at the foot a little bit, but he looked good at the end of the season, right? You got Jackson Denny, who got playing time and being able to be a playmaker at the end of the season. That huge block punt in the Iowa State game, and other plays that he made in spring ball, and how he's coming up. There's a lot of guys that are going to come up. Levani Damuni missed all of last season, very productive the season before. He's coming in fresh, healthy. Is he going to be lost a step or what? Jonah Hall came on at the end of the season last year. There are going to be a lot of guys. Logan Fano got his footing back. There was a lot of defensive guys that really got their footing at the end of the season. And it didn't matter what the offense was doing, whether they were, turning the ball over, putting them in bad position, the defense was stepping up at the end of the season. Hopefully the defense takes that mindset into the start of the season, and you have a complementary offense. That's just going to be trouble for the opposing team, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So, Lander, everything that we've heard and seen and what I've seen from him is that the guy's confident, he's ready, he's healthy, and he's ready to lead this football team.
Kyle Whittingham did bring this up, though, at Big 12 Media Day, and it's something he wants to see improve dramatically on the defensive side of the ball, which you're right. We always talk about how the defense is going to be great. We just know it is. But there's one thing they weren't great at last year, Sly, and it was forcing turnovers. They were not disruptive enough, not enough sacks, not enough turnovers. They were in the middle of the pack nationally in those categories when usually they're in the top 20. You played in this defense. You know how it happens. How does it work? How do you create more of those opportunities? What do you have to do schematically or with your coaching or with personnel to increase those opportunities to get sacks, to get turnovers, tackles for loss, disruptive plays?
Man, it's not as crazy as you would think. It's more of just being thoughtful, right? You have to be thoughtful and be thinking about it, right? I don't think we were thinking about it at the beginning of the season. There was so much hype with Cam Rising in this offense. There was a comfortability that was set in mentally, and so it just wasn't a thought. You know, the blocked field goal against Baylor was absolutely awesome. But, you know, we didn't see that dynamic thing. I just think that towards the end of the season, we saw 80-yard pick six by Lander Barton. We saw the block punch. We saw interception by Smith Snowden in the UCF game multiple times. We've seen a lot. It was more of a thought at the end of the season, right? And so it's on the coaching side, it just needs to be implemented. And every single play, it's got to be a conscious thought. Right? From when you're playing 7-on-7, even when you don't have pads on, you're saying strip at the ball, yank at the ball. So it becomes a motor movement, second nature movement, natural movement to strip at the ball every time that you make a tackle, right? It just wasn't a conscious thought at the beginning of last year. It turned on at the end of the season. As I said, the players turned on, the turnovers turned on, as you guys seen in the last 3 or 4 games of the season. Those things turned on, and it was more of a conscious thought. So that's literally it. JJ, is it just needs to be a conscious thought when I'm in there that I got to get off the field. Let me get off the field. The faster way to get off the field isn't 3 and out. It's making a turnover right now. If I can make a strip sack instead of just a sack, it's a conscious thought. And, you know, for me, I lived with the best strip sackers, right? I played with the best strip sackers, James Harrison, Lamar Woodley, Troy Polamalu. Those guys it was just conscious that every time that I got around the quarterback, I'm swiping at the football because, one, you swipe at the football on a running back, he stops his feet to protect the ball. You swipe at the football on a quarterback, he's now thinking of protecting the football instead of throwing the football, and now the defense is able to swarm him and make that happen. So you swipe at the football is making things happen, but the defense just needs to make it more of a conscious thought, and the coaching staff just needs to make it more of they just need to speak it more into existence on every play in practice.
Sly, what's the worst part about Camp Witt?
Being a freshman or a sophomore.
Wait. So explain what goes on when you're the new guy coming into Camp Kyle and what he does up there on the hill. I mean, it's one thing to be like, oh, coaches are tough and two-a-days are tough, but explain a little bit for people who might not understand how rough it could be for those for the newbies.
Alex, you're talking about days that don't exist anymore, buddy. You know, there's no 2-a-days anymore.
Yeah, what do we do now?
Don't know what it's like.
I just think
right?
I think 2-a-days are just.
Back in my day, we had 3-a-days.
Right. They get pudding pops at the end of period 8. You know, it's cake work out there, man. They get their own little ice packs to put on their head. Like, no, man. I think the worst part is it's like spring ball, right? It just comes to a point where it's like, man, I am tired of hitting Zane Beatles. I'm tired of hitting the same person over and over and over again. He knows my moves already. I've been doing it for 2 weeks. Like double practices, I've been doing the same spin move, the same rush, the same stutter step. He's got a beat on it already. And so, like, it just sucks because of the repetitiveness at that side, but also the newbies, man, because you get Scally, you get Sharif Shaw, you get some of these really hyped coaches, and even when Coach Witt gets pissed off, it's just no fun because you just don't know how to handle it. You don't know what it is, and you just don't want to be that guy to make a mistake. And if you are that guy, it's just the pads are heavy. You just gotta do a lot as the young guy. So the older guys, the seniors, it's pretty lax. It's pretty chill, man. No more 2-a-days. Just a lot of walkthroughs. The sucky part is the days are long. And then you just get tired of seeing the same guys. You just want to slap somebody sometimes.
Well, that's why people end up getting slapped, and that's why the little fights break out in camp. I always love those little videos. If it's the NFL, if it's college, and these guys are the one guy won't let go of the other guy's face mask, and they're popping each other, and I go, you know what? Maybe we let these guys hit somebody else, in a couple of weeks, and that's why you get excited about it.
Man, but
that's
look at that. There's more fights at the very beginning, because everybody's so excited, and then at the very end, because everybody's so tired. Like, stop touching me. Just stop touching me.
Well, you get that at camp, and that's part of the dynamic, but you also need to get some questions answered. So I wanted to ask you, what are the questions that you want answered in camp for Utah?
Same thing. I mean, I didn't see enough in spring, right? I've seen a couple practices, some scrimmages in spring, but I didn't see enough on the offensive side of the ball, right? I want this to be more than just hype. I want this to be more than what the coaches are telling us, right? The coaches are going to tell us everything's glitz and glam. This guy is fit for this position. I've never seen a guy with this type of talent anymore. Giving you the whole salesman pitch when this guy's got a missing muffler. And so
got to check that Carfax report, Sly.
Right. You got to check the car history. And so, that's what I want to see. I want to make sure that we're not all talk, right? But that's what I said, like Devin Dampier, man. Let us do the talking. We'll do the talking. We'll do the hype. We'll do the prospecting. We'll do all of that for you. You guys don't need to do anything. In your interviews with us, be humble, get through the interview, go on, and let us freaking talk about it, because we're going to talk about it anyway. So you don't need to give anybody any ammunition. Focus on you, because football is hard enough as it is, let alone trying to control a narrative at the same time. So I don't respectively don't care what the coaches are saying. I want to see the product on the field. I want to see these receivers blocking. I want to see this running game reignited, because that's Utah football. Everybody talks about how physical Utah is, this and that, and at 2024 sucked because guys were like, they're not physical, they're not this and that. That's to me, I think that hit Coach Witt more than anything, is guys had that type of mentality against us. And even he did. He said it in a couple post-game interviews. And so I want to see this run game reignited. I want to see these receivers blocking downfield. Luca Caldarella just blowing guys up on a crack block, and the Kirry Rogers and Parker, Wayshawn Parker getting loose in the open field. And as I said, man, I just want to get this running game reignited. I want to get this highly touted, highly talked about offensive line. I want to see pancakes. I want to see double-digit pancakes every single game from this offensive line. I better not see a defensive line push us back the way that we're talking about our offensive line. So I want Utah, essentially, to sum it up, sorry, a lot of words, walk the walk, bump all the talk, but I want to see you walk it. Walk that dog out there, man, and go out there and fight, man. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to slap somebody in the mouth, and I like my specialty, my touch. I like to go talk some smack. I better see on the TV, on the replay, they over there talking smack to the other team, letting them know who's here, and I'm going to be here all day. Better pack a lunch, fat boy.
Can't turn it off sometimes.
Sorry,
I love it. No. We both.
I would love to know.
I've heard that enough myself, and so it felt normal. It felt very. This feels like when we normally are having a discussion.
So, which BYU Cougar did you call fat boy, Sly? That's what I want to know.
The entire offensive line, but mostly Dallas Reynolds. I know he and I.
Dallas Reynolds.
He talked a lot of smack, man. I know me and him went back, especially in 2007. We actually had laughed how much crap we were talking to one another. It was funny.
My goodness. Stevenson Sylvester, Sly, always good to chat with you. When we actually get some camp in the books and we actually get some eyes on what's going on, as if we're actually going to know, it's going to have to be game 1 and 2 before we actually really know what's going on. But we'll still dip in with you and kind of get some ideas. But good luck, man. We appreciate you coming on, and we'll chat with you soon.
Love it, man. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Sly.
Stevenson Sylvester, everybody.
Great stuff.
He couldn't turn it off there at the end, huh? It turned into legit.
He went back to 2008 Sly real fast.
I was looking at Alex, our producer, and I'm looking at the dump button in there.
It's a little nervous moment there.
I'm watching, I'm going, okay.
I mean, he didn't say anything bad.
We know this guy well enough.
And he did drop a fat boy, which I appreciated. And he was willing to admit who he called fat boy. And I hope Dallas was listening. They're all going to get a chuckle.
That's what we have to do. That's what we have to do is get Dallas Reynolds on the horn. Like a phone call between the two right before the that's when you got to get really close to that dump button there, guy. Right? Okay. Appreciate Sly joining us. We've got more to go around the corner. We've got our NFL Blitz. You don't want to miss any of that. Tons of NFL news, and so we've got to get through at least some of it. So let's get to it. We've got more to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, if you've got a business that you want to get to take off, how about you partner with the KSL Sports Zone? JJ and I would love to endorse your product or your company and get that thing absolutely popping. Let's go. So many companies have had massive success bringing themselves on board with the KSL Sports Zone and for having us to back that product. And we want to be able to have that be you next. So just text the letters JJ to 57500. That's JJ to 57500. Our sales staff will get a hold of you and we'll tell you how we can partner up and you can watch your business grow big time. This sports talk radio audience loves a good deal. And if you've got a great product, they buy it, man. So just text JJ to 57500 and we'd love to start endorsing that product as soon as possible, man. Let's get it going. JJ, we just read this now. I mean, it's the NFL Blitz, and that means we've got some NFL stories. It looks like Trey Hendrickson with the Cincinnati Bengals is going to end his holdout. Contract negotiations went well, I guess. They extended him.
Checks notes? No.
Oh. So this is being viewed as a... Boy, it's complicated, right? The war of the two worlds of the ownership and the players. It's a weird thing. So according to sources close to the Trey Hendrickson camp, it's viewed as a good faith gesture that he wants to be with the team. They're going to look at it like, good, we got him, sign him up for as cheap as possible. Right?
You want to know the real reason why he's reporting?
I'm here so I don't get fined.
I don't know this. I'm assuming this. You are correct. It's $50,000 a
Hey,
day. Now,
there you go.
You miss a day or two. You're an NFL player. You can afford that. You get your point across.
You can get that back by throwing a couple...
$50,000 a day adds up fast.
Look, you could get that back by throwing a couple balls in the dirt if you're in Major League Baseball. Oh, terrible.
Which reminds me, bet $10 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win by using bonus code Hendrickson at FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
That sounds too real. Hey, that was a spoof, okay? Sounded too real.
We don't endorse betting sites.
No, we don't.
We're just playing around.
But these guys want to get paid. They also don't want to lose money. And the owners, they know they have that over them a little bit, right? That's the reality. So, by the way, the New York City shooter who shot and killed 4 before taking his own life was targeting the NFL headquarters, according to sources now who say that in a letter what they found on the shooter, claimed to have CTE, was targeting the NFL's offices. And I thought, is this a former NFL player? The answer was no. Former collegiate player? No. This was a guy who was obviously dealing with years of mental health illness that he blamed on CTE from his time when he played football in high school. What's tough about this is all the families that are affected after the fallout of something like this.
Yeah.
You had a federal agent, you had a off-duty police officer, and then you had 2 others. And those people lost their lives. And it was a person who flew out from Nevada to try to make his point. And that's a tough deal. So when we found out that, there was a shooting in Manhattan, and then you would find out what they were trying to do and trying to target, very weird. And the NFL, obviously they've had their own demons to deal with the CTE stuff. I look at this as a one-off individual who was struggling, and I don't know what the NFL would be in terms of, in terms of feeling like they'd be responsible for something like this when a guy who had played in high school comes across the country and does kind of a one-off, like lone wolf.
This has nothing to do with CTE. This is just a sick person that did a horrible thing. It's awful.
So there you go. Now that we knew the what the details were, it's very weird. Very weird. Jerry Jones labels his first-year head coach Brian Schottenheimer as a gem.
Oh, no.
I think what he actually said was he thought his name was Jim.
Come on, Jay. Jim Schottenheimer.
I like
Big fan of Jim.
I like what Jim does. Good guy. I think he's going to get Michael Parson in there. He's going to be a good...
Great hire, Jim Schottenheimer.
Oh.
Yeah, we got to figure out something with Michael Parson, but we really like Jim Schottenheimer as our head coach.
Sorry, did you call him a Jim? Well, yeah, I call him Jim.
Yeah, I always call him Jim. What do you want me to call him, Mr. Schottenheimer? I'm Jared Jones.
So then the
call
reporter
him Jim.
just goes, I guess I'm going to report on him calling him a Jim. Yeah, sure. Here's the thing, though, too. Either he gets the wrong name, which obviously we don't believe. On the second side of things, it's how can you call this guy who's never been a head coach a gem? What kind of a gem is he? What are we talking about here?
He's just trying to talk himself into the situation.
It's because this is his pick, right? And for a moment, Brian Schottenheimer is going to benefit from the fact that Jerry Jones is loyal to the weirdest situations ever.
It's ego-driven. He doesn't want to be wrong.
Ask, what's his name? The redheaded Princeton quarterback used to be the head coach.
Yeah, he coached way too long.
What was his name?
See? You don't even know.
Jim.
No, he works for NBC now.
I know. Why am I blanking? Jason
Garrett.
Jason Garrett.
Because he wasn't a very good coach, but he coached there for almost a decade.
For the last 5 years of it, it was like, is this guy still? He's going to still have a job, right? Like for as long as he wants.
They
right?
underachieved. They had Tony Romo and all kinds of great receivers and good defensive players, and they didn't win much.
Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam decided.
Speaking of great owners.
Decided to weigh in. You love this. Okay, first of all, the reports are that he's going to have to. The reports are that they're going to have to. They're going to have to cut one of these quarterbacks, okay, before week 1. So you've got Shedeur, you've got Dylan Gabriel, you've got Joe Flacco, and you've got Kenny Pickett. Did I get them all?
And technically, you still have Deshaun Watson on the roster.
Okay, well. You're not going to trade him.
Good luck.
You could release him, right?
Yeah, which of those guys gets cut? Because how many are you going to keep?
Yeah,
three max, maybe just 2.
So you brought Flacco in for a reason, and you're not going to move him. It's either going to be Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, or Shedeur Sanders. And my gut tells me that it would be Kenny Pickett because, hear me out, he'd actually be the most valuable of those. But they feel like they could probably get a combined effort that would be Kenny Pickett-esque, I think, as a Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders as your second option, I think, there.
I think they were going to cut Kenny Pickett anyway, but now that he's banged up, he's definitely in trouble.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they're cutting their first-round draft. They're not first-round. There's no way they're cutting their draft picks.
Not even their 5th-round draft pick that might not necessarily be performing that well?
They didn't take Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders to cut them. Year 1. And those guys are cheap. They're keeping those guys. Kenny Pickett's toast.
Ooh, Kenny Pickett toast.
And then they're going to they'll let Joe Flacco play to try to win some football games. And then in the meantime, they're going to let Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel battle out to see who their future quarterback is.
Are you going to take the over/under on the 0.5 torn Achilles tendon on Joe Flacco this year?
Oh, it's definitely over. That thing's going
to... it's listed as...
That's going to pop like fireworks.
They've listed Joe Flacco's Achilles as a 0.5. He's going to lose 0.5 Achilles this year. I'm going to take the under. You took the over?
Pop like popcorn. He's toast.
All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We've got more around the corner. Hey, guess what? You got 28 local college athletes who've been named to the East-West Shrine Bowl 1,000 list. Does that mean 1,000 players are on this list?
Oh, my gosh. Are you serious?
Let's go through the couple hundred that are here in the state of Utah next. Stay here at 97.5.
I do not like these lists.
The KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant. The oldies, as I like to call them.
Oldies but goodies.
Listen, is there in terms of classic rock, Led Zeppelin's got to be number one, right?
I'd be okay with that.
I wouldn't hate it.
Rolling Stones are in the conversation. The
Yeah,
Beatles.
Beatles are, I feel like, in their own category.
Van Halen?
Van Halen is 80s hair, big hair rock.
Black Sabbath?
May they all rest. I'm assuming they're all dead. Sorry.
Well, we know one is.
I know.
And AC/DC.
I'm surprised.
I think some of those guys are dead, too.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not a good classic rock band if you don't.
If you don't have
members.
If you don't have a lead singer who's a guy from Chicago and he's 29 and a half now. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it works.
pretty much how it works.
Let me see here.
If your lead
JJ.
singer didn't die of an overdose. Well, that's grunge.
Well, that's how you got on the list. That's how you got on the cool list. And then it was like, yeah. But then we needed somebody to sing that was going to be alive for a few decades. So they brought in those people who were like part of the, yeah. I mean, honestly, Australian Pink Floyd, as good as Pink Floyd. No joke.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How's
It's
that
super
possible?
Good. I don't know. They're just very good. They jam, dude. Let me see here. Best and worst brought to you by.
Is Leonard Skinner still as good? Is the new Leonard Skinner as good as the old Leonard Skinner?
It's just called Lenny Skinnerd.
It's just called Skinnerd. We didn't have the Leonard part anymore. We just had to stick with Skinnerd. I don't
Best and worst brought to you by Doug Smith Dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork,
that was the worst.
in Linden.
Sorry about all that.
The Doug Smith Dealerships. Nobody knows cars like Doug. All right, so 28 local athletes named to the East-West Shrine Bowl 1,000 list.
Wait.
If you
Stop.
have 1,000,
Look,
If you have a-
congratulations to all these guys. They're all great. 1,000 players in the list?
so they've got
What
six.
are we doing?
The Aggies have 6 names. The Weber State Wildcats have even one of their offensive linemen made the list. The Utes have, I don't know, that might be a dozen guys they mentioned. BYU, same thing, around a dozen
Yeah.
piece. So each team, if you're at the FBS level, and heaven forbid we look and see what Alabama has, they probably have 25 people on that list by themselves.
If you're a senior in college, you're probably on this list.
So the East-West Shrine game, I get it. Obviously, you want to get invited to the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Senior Bowl. The East-West Shrine game, it's a nice second option for you. For the local names here, for BYU, you've got Will Farron, Andrew Gentry, Isaiah Glasker, Garrison Grimes, Jack Kelly, Parker Kingston, Waylon Lapuaho, LJ Martin, Chase Roberts, Keanu Tanavasa, and Tanner Wall. There you go. For Utah, it's Lander Barton, Devin Dampier, Lavani Demouni, Spencer Fano, Logan Fano, Teo Johnson, Jaron Kump, Caleb Lomu, Michael Mokofisi, Smith Snowden, and Tanoa Togiai. So there you go. And then the Aggies have Bryson Barnes, Brock Lane, Ike Larson. Ike Larson's still playing, huh?
Yeah.
Good for him. Tyree Morris, and then, like I said, Gavin Ortega from the Weber State Wildcats. So there you go. I just named off 100 local players out of the 1,000. Good night,
You could
everybody.
have just read the team's rosters.
I wanted to make sure everybody got their due, man. I didn't want to, short anybody. And I didn't want to be like,
Well, apparently that's how these lists work, too, because they want to make sure everybody gets their due.
my favorite. Oh, Naki Fahina. Sorry. My bad.
So you didn't even give Naki his due. You're trying to give him his due, and you didn't even give
Sorry.
him his due.
There were a lot of names. It was a cold read of a lot of names on here.
You skipped Naki Fahina.
But here's what I was going to say. Congrats to all those who celebrate National East-West Shrine Game 1,000 list.
College football list day.
There you go. Well, you know how it is. Over the next few days, we're going to get bombarded by all the athletic departments of the preseason list and the watch list.
Maxwell and Bolitnikoff.
Well, they're going to have,
but
they're going to have new ones that we weren't aware of that they added during the offseason that were like, this one celebrates the people who work at food banks during the offseason.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to get those kinds of things. And God bless you. Thank you for doing that. But, like, we don't need every list. We don't need every list. The reality is there somebody in this state that could win a major award right now?
Spencer Fano.
Spencer Fano could get your Outland Trophy.
Absolutely.
He's legitimately on that finalist list.
I think he's the best shot in the state this year to win a major award.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to bring an Outland Trophy to.
They haven't had one at the U.
Utah. Let's go. All right. And then the worst is, I saw this today and I was like, what are we doing? You asked the same question. I told you the story and you go, what are we doing?
Why are we still talking about Connor Stallions?
Connor Stallions in the news again.
Oh, my
The
gosh.
sideline scandal, of course, and the cheating scandal. The NCAA decided, you know what? We weren't really able to do anything to Michigan. They've got good lawyers. Who else could we get here? Hey, Bob, how did they get on the field with Central Michigan? I think you've got something there. We could find him. Central Michigan now is now legitimately under investigation, has gotten an NCAA notice of possible rules violations. And the allegations are stemming from Connor Stallions being on their sideline. You know, because Central Michigan's like, gets a call from Connor Stallions and the Michigan Wolverines, presumably, and it went something like this. Hey, Coach. Oh, thanks. Anytime anybody from Ann Arbor can call me, I'd love it. Please, anything I can help you with. You want some sideline teats? You want some sideline tickets, shooter? I'll get them for you. You want to go to Red Lobster? So Central Michigan is being investigated for allowing Connor Stallions on the sideline or not doing enough to prevent him from being on the sidelines? For helping Michigan cheat? I don't know what it is. We've gotten to another weird level on this thing. And here we are.
Connor Stallions lives on. What a legacy.
With those meta glasses, wearing those Facebook glasses.
Jeez.
I don't know. I picked up a couple of these really, really good shots. Hold on. Let me get a little closer here. He was wearing those glasses. He looked so stupid. Oh, my heavens. Okay. We'll take the break here.
Connor, please retire from everything.
Well, no. He's like a defensive coordinator or something like that at
he's
high school level. Yeah. No. He's
Where?
coaching at a high school, isn't he? We looked it up. I thought we looked it up. Connor Stallions, like, or maybe he was asked not to coach anymore at his like high school alma mater or something. I don't know. Yes, high school coach.
He's coaching high school football.
Yeah.
He most recently served as the offensive coordinator at Belleville High School.
There you go. And Belleville High School, all the players walk
Coaching
around
the nationally ranked #1 recruit in the country, Bryce Underwood.
Come on.
What?
See? All right.
Same Connor Stallions?
We'll take the break. Oh, he did. He went to Michigan. There you go.
Oh,
Committed
no.
to Michigan. Come on. Get those glasses on. If you watch the documentary, you know if there's one thing he loves, it's some Michigan football. All right? All right. We'll take the break. We'll come back. More to go around the corner. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.